Welcome, I'm the Deadwood Jedi. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. We're in my account again today, and as you guys know, the Doom Tower is the biggest new thing that Raid has dropped in at least a year. So, of course, we're covering it. That's what we're trying to do. Now, myself, just like every other content creator, just like you guys, are going through this tower for the first time. So, just like you, we're trying to push and see how far we can go, how fast we can go, how high we can go, and on the highest, hardest difficulty level. Just makes sense. That's what we want to try and do. And it gives you guys a preview of what comes down further in the tower. Of course, though, not everybody has the same champions we do. Not everybody has the same account, the same gear that we do. And so maybe you can't do hard. Maybe you're stuck on normal. Maybe you're just stuck in the beginning of hard. I understand. The one good thing is the bosses are the same, regardless of the difficulty. The only difference is how hard they hit and their base stats, right? The mechanics are still the same. So I want to show you guys, you can beat these bosses, because I did all first 4 bosses using only epic or rare champions. No legendaries. Not even the free-to-play versions. No legendaries whatsoever. So I want to show you guys that this is doable. It's not a fast run. It's not like a OP run, or in any case. I didn't bring in a seer. I didn't bring in any crazy champions to make this work. I think the best champion I have, the craziest one, might be a miscreated monster, might be a royal guard. I'm using good champions, but you can find substitutes for those guys if you need to. And not only that, on your account, you still have your legendaries to bring out. As always with this game, you got to use what you have. And the Doom Tower is designed to be hard. It's designed to be this impossible challenge, this real end game kind of content. So it is going to be a struggle for most of the people here. At some point, I'm going to struggle too. Hopefully not, but chances are I will. So in any case, I want to show you guys this, just to show you what's possible, ways to look at it, different mechanics you can use with the champions that you have that might work for each of these individual bosses. So I'm going to do 4 videos. I'm going to break them up. Maybe they'll be a little bit shorter, but that way I can get a little bit more into the intricate mechanics and some different ways you can go about doing this stuff. And I'll show you how I did it without using any legendaries whatsoever. Now, first one we're going to start with is the Magma Dragon, right? So we got this kind fellow over here. You can see the best times. I've done this in 18 seconds on this Magma Dragon. This run is not going to be that, but it works. And you can see the champions I'm bringing. Doom Priest is fantastic for all these bosses. Being able to cleanse and do so regularly helps a lot with the bosses that throw out provokes, that throw out slow debuffs, decrease attack debuffs, decrease defense debuffs. They're not throwing out gobs of them. So Doom Priest is good to be able to cleanse that over time. Also, that heal that Doom Priest does is a really nice bonus to keep your team full up. Now with the Magma Dragon, we definitely need some ally protection to keep alive on this one. And so that's why we're bringing in Vergis to make sure that we stay alive. We're bringing in Hope here for extra shielding and protection, as well as extending those buffs. And then we have Taurus for poisons to help burn this guy down, and then we have Stagnite as well for the decreased defense, decreased attack, which is important, and decreased speed. So let's go ahead, I'll show you guys the run, and we'll go from there. Now, the way I did this, you notice I don't have any nuke champions, right? There's no Cold Heart, no Royal Guard. I don't need it to get through this. In fact, I have it on auto right now. If it gets a little wonky, maybe I'll take it off there, but I don't think I need to. For the Magma Dragon at this level, it's not crazy hard. The big thing is just surviving, right? Survive, heal up, cleanse those debuffs, and attack again. And that's pretty much all we're looking to do here. And when you do that, it's a very viable run. You can definitely survive with that. Now the waves, if you guys have noticed, the waves on all of these towers, they aren't particularly hard. Even on floor, 60, 70 that I just got to, it gets difficult because of the champions they're bringing in, but it's not like their HP levels are crazy. Their defenses are crazy high. Those ads aren't designed, those waves aren't designed to kill you. Those waves are designed to throw off your cooldowns, to throw off your timing, I think, more than anything. Help you waste those resources, use those resources ahead of time. Now, as we start going in here, you're going to see we're going to start putting up these debuffs. Now, the big thing about the Magma Dragon is, he has this hex thing. Now, one way to go about this is you can provoke him. We all know that. So I wanted to show you something a little bit different. I'm not using any of that crazy stuff to get through this guy. All I'm using is Doom Priest to cleanse, Doom Priest to heal. We got a little shield from Valerie, and that's it. Ally protection. It's a very basic kind of approach to this. You can use pretty much any champion that does these things here. Or you could bring in a provoke champion and have them go ham. That would work really well. Now, the Magma Dragon obviously puts his Hex out, and he does more damage to the champion that he attacks that has the Hex. Well, thankfully, my Doom Priest is tanky, has a fair amount of HP, fair amount of defense, and because of the cleanse, because of the constant healing, she's going to survive this. But that's pretty much it. Just an attack one and takes away turn meter. That's okay. It's not great that it's on Doom Priest, but it works. And this A2 ability puts an HP burn on each target, and then that's going to be really important to have Doom Priest to cleanse that off. That's one of the big reasons why we have her there, because this last ability also does that HP burn and steals turn meter and puts that Hex out, etc., etc., etc. You guys get the idea. A champion like Doom Priest is extremely valuable for this. But, you know, another good champion would be a Reliquary Tender. Especially on the easier difficulties, right? If you're working with only rare champions, Reliquary Tender has a very nice cleanse. Can work very well. I'm bringing in Taurus here to do our damage. I'm not relying on raw damage. I'm relying only on the poisons to get this done. And we can. We can complete this just using those poisons, guys. It's just about surviving it. So Vergis is fantastic at keeping your team alive. Hope is great at keeping your team alive. And then all we need are the debuffs, hence Stagnite. Taurus puts on the poisons, that's it. So if you have better champions at this, which I'm sure most of you actually do, you can make this work for you. It doesn't matter that I lost Stagnite there. All I need is one champion to survive this, guys. I just need one. So you can lose a guy or two along the way. It's okay. There you go. Finished. Done. This is what it takes. Yes, my champions are mastered. Yes, they're leveled up. Yes, they're ascended. And yes, they have good gear on. I do have a shield set on Hope. They're set. I put a lot of these guys have lifesteal gear too, which I find to be very valuable against these bosses. Being able to heal yourself up is really good. Now, this isn't the only kinds of champions that we can bring, obviously. These are just the champions that I brought. If you exclude the legendaries, even the ones I have, someone that would work really well, Umbral Enchantress is a great option. She does, obviously, whatever, does damage on the A1, A2, but the big thing is this A3 where she puts out a 2-turn provoke, which against bosses is really good because you usually go more than once for the boss, especially if you bring in a speed champion, which worked great as well, and then makes herself unkillable during that. Now, the hard part is she goes all the way down. She's going to end up going down close to 0 health. So you put her in a lifesteal set, get her some accuracy, this can be very effective for you. Azure is a champion that I've been kind of toying with and playing around with. He also has a very nice ally protection, comes with a self shield. That can be a great way to keep yourself protected and alive as you're going through this. The stun's not going to work, so you're not going to get the benefit of that for this A1 or A3, but that ally protection is going to keep your team alive. So if you don't have a Vergis, might be a good alternative option. All right, so we're going to try this. We're going to bring in Apothecary. We're going to bring in Royal Guard. We're going to bring in Umbral Enchantress, Jareg, as well as Tayrell. And we're going to see if we can't use ally protection, some of the heal from Rearguard Sergeant and Apothecary and Jareg for that matter. And we'll use the provoke from Umbral Enchantress, who is not in lifesteal, so that might prove an issue. But kind of go through and see what can work for this. Now, one thing I don't want to do is I don't want Umbral Enchantress using her provoke ability. So I do want to manual through these waves, which is annoying, but it's fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal. We should get through pretty easily. Now, these champions aren't optimized. I haven't gone through and tried to figure out what's the best way to do any of this. I kind of put gear on them, made sure they can work, and went with that. We can go ahead and get that ally protection going to start. We'll wait on Rearguard Sergeant. It's better to have it alternate a little bit, is definitely a good way to go. So there we go, and then we can go ahead and get the provoke out. So might as well start with that. There you go. Got the provoke going. Everybody just gets to go now. We keep that hex off. As long as we keep that provoke up, the hex isn't on. That's a great place to be. We can go ahead and put the ally protection and the continuous heal now. And I think we're just going to kind of let it auto and see how this goes. But this boss doesn't take a lot of real configuring in order to make it work. I mean, the big thing we want to make sure to do is not get that those hexes, those HP burns. Those are going to be problematic. Now, I didn't bring a cleanser on this one, so we're going to see if that's going to kill us here. But bring a provoke champion in Umbral Enchantress should be able to help us survive this. Bringing in the ally protection means even if the Magma Dragon's hitting harder, we can survive it because we're only taking half that damage. So those are kind of the big things you want to do. You know, there is some built-in healing with this comp. In Rearguard Sergeant and Jarreg, they both have abilities that can do that, and not to mention Apothecary as well. But these are epic level champions, rare level champions. Nothing crazy, and you know all those legendary champions have way harder skills. As you can see, that turn meter is dropping like crazy, and we should be able to get through this without a whole lot of issue. Now, I'm not saying at level 4, at floor 40 or 50 or whatever the next Magma Dragon comes out, that it's going to be, you know, doable with this team. Probably not. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to get harder as you go up. But the ways you want to get through this, especially if you're on a lower level, you want to look at ally protection, you want to look at cleansing, and definitely some healing in there. Revive works really well in that case too. Another champion we could have brought in that I think would actually have a really good effect would be a Battle Sage. The Revive on Death is great for that one champion that's hexed and you think might die. The Cleanse is great for everybody. And then you have a Speed Aura in there as well. So she's actually a really good champion to bring in on this. If I had thought about it, I might have brought her in instead of, like, say, Apothecary, or even instead of Tyrell, or, you know, I think would have been fine. But really you want to look at trying to stay alive, stay as tanky as possible, and then just get your debuffs up there. Having decreased defense, you saw how much faster that run was to the previous run. Big part of that decreased defense debuff, getting that out there and getting hard hitters, right? So my Tyrell can hit hard, Umbral Enchantress can hit hard. They're both, like, they can do damage. They have good multipliers on their skills. So definitely a couple ways you guys can go about doing this. Now, I know there's always a level where it gets harder and harder, right? But the key is you can only use the champions you have. You can only use the gear that you have. So it's not with this boss specifically, there's not a lot of mechanical stuff that you need to work and figure out. With this boss specifically, the biggest thing is just trying to survive best you can with what you have. If you have a Battle Khazar, it's going to be great. You bring a Rosin in, he's going to do crazy damage on this guy. That's a wonderful thing to bring in. If you can get a Soulless or a Angar to do the provoke, fantastic. Those guys are going to be fantastic at that. They're just not the only options, right? You don't need the legendary to beat this level. As if you've built up your champions and you have enough decent gear, you can definitely do this. I'll give you an idea of the gear I have on my guys. And I mean, look, I have my gear. That's what I got. So I can't put free-to-play gear on my guys. I'm not free-to-play. But I can kind of show you this isn't like my A-tier stuff. These are not champions I use on the daily anymore. So with Umbral Enchantress, I have her in Frost. 4,000 HP, 4,000 defense, 175 speed isn't crazy, only 50% crit rate, got the accuracy where we want it. Nothing bonkers about her. Definitely good, but not like wild, crazy kind of champion. Let's see, Rearguard Sergeant, you can see here, 4,000 defense, 46,000 HP. She has a really good base, so that's a lot easier to get to. 181 speed, 61% crit rate, 214 accuracy. Again, not crazy. I don't even have her gloves leveled up. Do ever in lifesteal gear. Let's see, Doom Priest. Doom Priest is pretty stacked HP, 47,000, but only 3,300 defense. Again, nothing crazy, only 183 speed. You're going to see all my champions are very, very similar in being geared like this. There's nothing super crazy or wild going on with them. Hope, I do have in a shield set. Got a lot of HP on her, but not a lot of defense. Same speed, same accuracy. Taurus, same thing. 190 speed, good defense, okay HP. good accuracy. Tyrell, decent speed, actually kind of low defense for him, for my builds, low HP for my builds. Accuracy's good. I do have crit, I think I have crit gloves on him, so crit damage gloves, so it does hit hard for sure. Stagnite, similar thing. Low defense, okay HP for someone with a good base. It's pretty low HP actually. Good speed for sure. Good crit rate, good accuracy. I've used him in arena before. I use him in a lot of my dungeon runs. That's why he's so fast. My Vergis here, you can see the defense isn't great. Defense is great. The HP isn't great. Speed's 171. Accuracy or crit rate's good. Crit damage is okay. You know. Apothecary 235. Low defense. Okay HP. I don't know. You guys get the point. I think I showed them all. I might have missed one or two, but I think you guys get the idea. It's not just about the champions. It is about the gear some, but it's not just about that either. It's just about building the team the right way. And for a lot of the lower level stuff, that's going to matter a lot more than either the champions or the gear. Now, obviously, if you don't have the champions if you don't have ally protection champions at all, it's going to be harder. If you don't have cleanse champions at all, it's going to be harder. So you do have to work with what you have. But, you know, I think it's a easy thing for a lot of us just to go with the attackers, hit them hard, hit them hard, hit them hard. It's not the only way to do it. And in fact, that's the harder way to do it, because the gear requirements are higher, the speed requirements are higher, and it's much tougher to keep them alive. Now that said, you know, who am I to say that you can't bring in 4 good attack champions and 1 really strong reviver? Cardinal comes to mind. Reliquary Tender comes to mind. Maybe you use both of them with 3 attack champions and just take this thing down as fast as you can. I think that could be a viable strategy. But just understand the strategy that you're going for when you head into these bosses. It's not, I don't think it's going to be unbelievably crazy. But, you know, there it is. That is a way. I've shown you two different ways to go about taking down the Magma Dragon. Now, I'm sure on the higher levels of normal, it might be more difficult than even what I was facing there. I will get there at some point. And when I do, I can show those kinds of runs. I'll probably be showing occasional runs and occasional progress in the normal campaign as well. I know there's some particularly tough floors on the hard campaign for sure. I almost guarantee there's some on the normal side as well. So when those come up, you guys let me know what they are. I'll make sure to note them. And when I come across them at some point, like I want to try and progress as far as I can first, but then I'll go back and go over those and we can talk about them and figure out best strategies for you guys to approach it with. But anyway, guys, I don't want you to feel left out. I'm going to have 3 more videos coming out, one for each of these dungeon bosses, so you get a real sense of how the mechanics work, how to do it as a low spending or free to play player using some nothing but epics and rare champions. So it's nothing too crazy. But yeah, until next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.